Mm. All right, bots seem to be back and working. Mm-hmm.
Seems like just yesterday.
Okay, so let's see here. So DrBotBud wants to know this. Does listening to audiobooks count as reading? No, it's a good question. Good question. Oven says, I think it is listening instead of reading. More like listening to a storyteller reading from a book. Okay. Mr. Eddie says, song in head is Old Town Road. Oh, and yes, audiobooks count as reading. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And there could be worse songs that have stuck in your head for sure. So one of my close friends, he has this talent where once he's heard a song, if you start anywhere in that song, if you just sing like even part of a verse, like a single verse, then his brain has to complete the song. It has to play the rest of the song in his head. So you really fuck him up when you like sing him the song that never ends. It's awful. It's awful. And he used to use his super talent. He probably still does. But when he was in college, so he would have a song in his head and then he would memorize facts along with the song. So that's how he would learn things. So he found a way to like, to use that super talent. I thought that was pretty cool. Made me think of that. Mm-hmm. Crazy says, where's Kitty? She's had a fantastic evening so far. Meow. Kitty, kitty.
So worth it.
Dauntless says, yep, audiobooks count as reading. I listen to audiobooks when my eyes are too tired to read. So I think for me, I think that audiobooks count as reading. So I have a really good friend. Some of you guys know One Bad Buttercup. And she was really into teaching for a long time and teaching Montessori style teaching and a bunch of other things. She's wonderful and lots of cool things. We've known each other almost in several lifetimes over at this point. She would work with she would do tutoring for students, and when she would do tutoring, she'd have to assess where the child was, generally more so before, like more in the early grade school grades. But so she got and fascinating, right? So she as part of testing to understand where a child was in terms of like their reading comprehension, right? That was a big thing, right? And one of the things that was really important is to understand when you read, and it's your ability to turn those words into images or concepts, right? It's kind of your internal monologue and your visualization process, because we visualize when we read things, right? When you're reading words, you put together all kinds of different like mental images, right? There's more to it for sure. But what she found, and not just her, but colleagues and teaching science, right, is that children that were low on their reading comprehension, it's because they had not developed that mental process as well as other children. So it made it much harder for them to actually read and continue to comprehend what they were reading, right? And so the interesting thing is that audiobooks trigger the same aspects in your mind that reading does, right? So in terms of your mental visualization process, right? And the way the words sound in your mind, the way things are put together conceptually. So I firmly and fully believe that audiobooks they do as much good for you as reading does. How cool is it? How cool? Real quick. How freaking cool is it, right? That words and language, I firmly believe we would not be where we're at now without language, right? Like the ability to express and communicate, right? To exchange information, to hand it down, like to live long enough to be able to share parables and stories and concepts, right? Like and to be entertained. Like language is such a core part of who we are. And some of that, it's both language, but it's also being able to read and write, right? Like it's huge boon for humanity. Yay us, right? So it's not lost on me. It makes me feel super cool. Just the fact that we do it, right?